Hello. So, after the scan a few days ago, I had had a quiet few days, and I had been so shocked and upset by his response to the news that I was expecting a girl that I'd had very little contact with Mr. C. And what a blessing that was, because looking through my camera roll, I can see that over this time 1 year ago, my daughter and I made pizzas, we played in the garden, and we made wind chimes out of old necklaces. I was still working through my online course, and as I was taking part in more and more exercises that were focused on me, my self worth, and my identity, I was starting to understand more and more just how much I had lost myself to the relationship with Mr. C. How I had become a version of myself that had been created by him. Some of it I knew about, those conversations where he had told me what to do or what to wear, how to have my hair cut and not to colour it with bright colours. And then there were the subtle changes that he had orchestrated, the alterations to my character that had been born from fear of what he might say or do if I asserted myself or made my true feelings known. How I had to change my laugh or not to be too friendly to people when we were out and about because I knew he would pass comment on it, and then later on that day, or maybe even weeks later, bring it up in the middle of an outburst as a way to demonstrate just how little respect I must have for him. Now, the prompt for today's episode is directly related to one of those things, and it's related to identity. Because 1 year ago today, I ordered a stash of new clothes. I'd made the decision for a couple of reasons. The first one was that I was starting to resign myself to the idea that I might never get my clothes back, and that if I could begin to try and flip this to think of it as a perfect opportunity for a fresh start, then that is what I should do. My sister lives 2 doors away from my parents and she has lots of clothes, so I didn't need to replace absolutely everything in one go. But I figured that if I started to buy a few things now, then if he did refuse to ever return my belongings, I was going to be more prepared and less disappointed. The second reason I bought the clothes is because I was pregnant, and whilst I wasn't really showing yet, it wouldn't be long, and with the summer coming, I would have needed to buy maternity clothes anyway, so it made sense to just buy the new ones, and then any maternity clothes I had could be sold on after the baby was born. I'd left with no money and no income, so buying a load of clothes felt like a massive thing, and after years and years of financial abuse, rationalising why it was okay for me to spend money on myself wasn't easy. And that leads me on to the third reason. The course I was doing kept talking about showing up as if. And we're going to probably revisit this concept in more detail as the series goes on, because it's been one of the fundamental principles that I've followed and attribute much of my healing to. And I suppose looking back, this was my first action aligned with this idea. And this is the idea that we attract whatever vibe we are putting out. So rather than fake it till you make it, it's more where the focus goes, the energy flows. I was learning on this course that it is possible to manifest the life I desire, but I had to be an energetic match for it. And as grateful as I was to my family for helping to keep me clothed, safe and comfortable, if I was going to reconnect with my inner self, I needed to start dressing like her and not someone else. Another thing was that buying clothes, it's not something I had done for a long time. And even then, it isn't really my favourite activity. I like browsing the shops if they're quiet, but I enjoy the bit where you stop for lunch and have a chat far more than the actual shopping on a day out to the shops. Fortunately, with the world in lockdown, I didn't have the option to go out, so online shopping it was. It was a lot of fun to scroll through the online shops knowing that I didn't have to think about what Mr. C's opinion was or get his permission, but even though I was free to buy whatever I wanted, I kept putting my phone down. I was overwhelmed by the choice or being reminded of what a poor financial situation I now found myself in because of yet another failed relationship with an abusive man. So, to stop myself from getting too overwhelmed or start to feel envious or depressed at the fact I couldn't afford all the clothes on every website, I decided I needed a more methodical approach. So I went on the internet and I started to put together a list for a capsule wardrobe. Taking control of the situation and then taking action felt amazing. So I listed out what I would need for the next 6 months. 2 tops, a pair of harem pants, 3 pairs of shoes, 1 skirt, 2 dresses, 2 cardigans, a pair of jeans, a bag, and a shirt or a blouse. And then I went onto websites like eBay and Wish, and I started to build my wardrobe so that it was cohesive and it was full of the kinds of clothes that I wanted to wear and that I envisioned my future self wearing. I even bought myself a couple of pieces of jewellery to go with the clothes and felt such a sense of achievement when I'd ordered everything I needed to complete my capsule wardrobe for just over £100. It was such a positive step and one that really set me on the right track with my healing, because coming home to yourself is a scary thing after abuse. Facing up to who you are and how you feel can be too much for so many survivors to bear, and it often leads us to behaviours that are destructive or into relationships that continue to have a toxic influence on our well-being. So, if you're listening and wondering if you are worthy of a new wardrobe or even just a new item of clothing, here is your permission to treat yourself. You deserve it. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. If you're enjoying the series so far, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye.